Well, hello everybody. Morning, afternoon, or whatever color code in between. My name is Devin Ben, and I'm giving this YouTube thing a shot because I feel like airing some grievances. And yeah, by grievances, I mean sports grievances. And by those things, I mean teams that are just not doing enough. Now, these are just my personal opinions on these teams. Say what you want about them. I know you're a fan, but just face facts. You're not there, you're not doing enough, and it doesn't just feel like you have any general direction going on with your team. Now, guys, this is my first time doing this, giving this a shot. I think I can be really good at this. I've really put my mind to it and starting off here, doing it straight up on the phone. So, yeah, quality won't always be there, but I'll make sure my thoughts are clear. And if you disagree, comment below. If you agree, comment below. Have friendly discourse within the comment section, please. Don't need any name calling or making it an Xbox Live party down there. So make sure we're all good, and everybody make sure to get a subscribe. So let's go and get started. I'm gonna start off in the NFL, favorite sport. I'm just letting y'all know a little thing about myself. Played football in high school, so yeah, football is gonna be a thing. This is gonna be a team I'm gonna start with because I think they're just mediocre in so many spots, and they just don't know what to do anymore. Now they got a good feeling on story. I think you guys are starting to, go to where I'm at. Good feel story, but it's gonna be the Minnesota Vikings. Justin Jefferson, Jordan Adams, and T.J. Hockenson. Offensive line is still pretty good, in my personal opinion. Underrated. Christian Darrisaw is super underrated left tackle. Super underrated. I think he's a top 5 tackle in the league right now. And only at the tender age of about 24 years old, he's going to be one of the best left tackles in the league probably in the next year and a half or so. Same thing with Brian O'Neill. Great right tackle in the middle and right tackle over there. And then in the middle section, yeah, Garrett Bradbury's a little, in my personal opinion, overrated. Bull Rush. Gets killed by Bull Rush. Kenny Clark tore him up, I think, one previous game. Then, for some reason, they traded Ezra Cleveland. Now, I'm a big fan of that. I mean, Ingram's been playing okay in that guard spot, but, that's just me. But getting on to it. But Minnesota has been stuck in this internal seam of mediocrity ever since they got Kirk Cousins. I mean, they started off 8-8 with the guy, went 11-5, then went 12-4, then had that good season last year where every game came down to the last minute. But at some point in time, I think they need to write off the book and say, hey, we need a superstar quarterback. The last time they had a real superstar quarterback was Dante Culpepper. Don't give me, we had Brett Favre or whatnot. I don't want to hear that Brett Favre was 55 years old and stealing money from poor kids in Mississippi. Let's just be honest here. My fault for that last part. But yeah. So I think the Minnesota needs to go ahead and just try to blow it up or try to get some way down. I think this would have been a perfect opportunity for them to say, hey, Justin Jefferson's hurt. We're not really that good. We're not really going to do nothing in the playoffs. I get the money-making part. You want to get into the playoffs, but those Minnesota fans are always going to be loyal. If you sell them the idea that, hey, we're tanking, we can get a superstar quarterback in this year's draft, whether it be Drake May or Caleb Williams, I really think they would have had a shot if they really decided to tank. Like, if they really wanted to tank out there, they really would have had a shot to get Drake May or Caleb Williams because the top 2 picks are probably going to end up going to probably either Chicago or probably New England. And yes, I said New England Patriots. This is the perfect segue actually to go into the New England freaking Patriots. Bill, retire. It's been 4 years without Brady. Retire. It's okay. You've done everything in the book, accomplished everything that you need to accomplish. You're still in my personal opinion, you're still the greatest coach in NFL history. Hell, in sports history. Retire, Bill. I think they need a whole new regime change. It's the same thing with Robert Kraft. Hand the thing off with your son, get some new fresh faces in there. The Patriots are a very old organization right now as far as the way it's been run. Very old. I think we had the best examples that was in Cincinnati with the Brown family. His daughter's running it now, and well, look, she's made changes, doing things, all white helmets and stuff like that. You can tell it's a newer team, not an old team. So I think they really need to go move that. The pieces are there for a good team. Mac Jones, obviously. Listen, Mac Jones needs to go. This is what it is. I think they have a good shot to get probably. Caleb Williams doesn't fit their culture, I don't think, in New England. this is me. Caleb Williams is not going to be a Boston guy. So that's why I said probably, going to Minnesota with Justin Jefferson where they have a weapon. Yes, that's an exception. But he'll probably, a place like the Raiders, a place like Chicago, a trade up, probably New York will probably be a better place for Caleb Williams as far as his personality. Drake May, though, perfect. 6'4", 220-pound quarterback with a good arm. Screams Tom Brady-esque. But no, he's not Tom. Nobody's ever going to be Tom. I don't think they should bet that out. But I think he's overall going to be a better fit. Plays in cold weather, strong arm guy, pretty good processor in the middle of the field. So I think he'll probably be the perfect spot for them. And then wide receiver heavy draft. So they can find some good talent because Malik Neighbors, Romeo Dooms, Keon Coleman, Emeka Ibuka, Marvin Harris is going to be off the board probably before they can grab him, or they're going to have to take him with their first pick. But I think they need to prioritize quarterback and getting that right. But tons of weapons right now in this draft, not including Brock Bowers or whatnot. But they're not going to have the draft. I don't think they have the draft capital or anything like that to go ahead and move up like that. But that's my second team over there in the NFL, and that's going to be New England Patriots. And then, I think this is another team who's going to say, hey, let's go ahead and blow it up and get a fresh coat of paint up in there. And this honestly is going to be a surprising one, in my personal opinion, because I feel like they're on the cusp, but you see the pieces are there, but they're just not going to be there. And by the way, so I think we're going to go ahead and go with the Denver Broncos. I think everybody knows that. I like Cortland Sutton. I like Jerry Jeudy. They're winning games, but is Russell Wilson really the guy? Garrett Bowles doesn't want to be there apparently because they're not winning. The defense is – I love Patrick saying Justin Simmons. Their secondary is going to be good despite the 70 points they gave it to Miami. That was just a whole nother thing. It's going to skew everything. Yes, they gave us 70 points to Miami. Don't hold that against them for the rest of the season. They've been playing great football. They've been a top 3 defense the last 6 weeks. So, that game against the Bills and the Chiefs sets that alone. They've been stifling those guys. But, defensive line-wise, they don't got any guys really down there. So, it's just the Broncos are a mess. I feel like they could really just do a new whole coat of paint, let Sean Payton get somebody else in there, and just start anew. Like, the situation obviously didn't go the way they wanted it to go, wasn't planned to, and they need to go ahead and, blow that thing up. Now, this is another team I'm sticking out to in the NFL once more. This team has pieces. Yes, I don't think they need to blow it up, but for the top down, they need to get better. They have a superstar quarterback. I still think he's good anyway. I think he's taking a lot of security. Yes, some of it warranted, some of it not. They have a great wide receiver. Great. Needs to stay healthy. They have a top 10 left tackle. Offensive line's probably top 10 as well, looking like it. They got 2 great pass rushers on the side. They got a great safety. Can you guess it? The Chargers. Brandon Staley has to go. The forte he has is defense. He came in there as a defensive-minded head coach. And don't give me all that, they play well against the Jets. As soon as I saw that, I'm like, oh, my God, they're going to overrate this guy because they beat up on the Jets. And it was Zach Wilson. They come on, man. The Jets couldn't score on Nacogdoches State. And, yes, I don't even know if that's real. But the way they've been playing, they couldn't score against the college team. Overrated win for the Chargers. I mean, the offense looked terrible, but that's because they're playing one of the best defenses in the freaking league. I think they'd be on a historic rate if the offense just wasn't so bad on the other end for the Jets. And yes, even with Aaron Rodgers there, I think they probably win a couple more of these games. So I think the offense is, over the top, good, great. No, but I think they are more than sustainable from what they've been doing now. Oh, man, I've been doing too much with the Jets. But that further proves my point with the Chargers. They got a whole bunch of overrated wins this season over the Vikings, over the Jets, and teams like that. Over the Bears is an overrated win. Those teams have been terrible all season long. They've been terrible on specific ends of the football. So, yes, you have an order to win. Then when you actually play a good team, a good coach team like Detroit, love Detroit, Motor City Dan Campbell, love it. Jared Goff's redemption story. Love everything about it. Amon St. Brown, great wide receiver. Yeah, love everything about Detroit Lions. But you guys are at home and you get to not be that game was not as close as what a lot of people would think it was. I felt like Detroit had complete control of that game from start to end. I mean, come on. Jahmyr Gibbs and and David Montgomery come out for over 200 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns. 200 yards on the ground. And Jared Goff still threw for 265, 270, and 2 touchdowns. They gave up well over 500 yards of offense to the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions didn't force any turnovers. They didn't get to the quarterback. And they supposedly got all these great pieces. Oh, Brandon Staley. It's not working out for them. That's just plain and cut what it is. Brandon Staley needs to go. They need to get somebody else in there to go ahead and get that system like fully cleared out. Otherwise, it's not going to work. And no, not Josh McDaniel. No, I don't want to see. He probably is a better coordinator than a head coach. We've all seen that. It's a proven fact. He needs to stay there. But yeah, that's just my cup of tea on some of those NFL teams. Now moving on to these NBA teams. These NBA teams are a little bit more frustrating, and overall, just get to me. Just like, what are y'all? Ooh. And they're on a couple of them are on the East Coast. Yes, I think some of y'all know what we're talking about. East Coast, Midwest teams. The New York Knicks. I love Jalen Brunson. I like Jalen Brunson. Jalen's a 2 or a 3. Plain and simple. RJ Barrett, 2. Well, probably a high up in 3. Julius Randle, for the way he playing, might as well be a 5. Jesus. Julius Randle is averaging 16 and a half points a game, 10.3 rebounds, 3.5 assists. You say, oh, well, stat line don't look too bad. He's shooting 38% from the field. 21% from three-point range. Efficiency is in the gutter. That's saying it nicely. Julius Randle hasn't played well to start the season, but he's always been like this. Very inconsistent. He'll put up a lot of numbers, but it's nothing that incorporates wins. Like a whole lot of other guys in the league. It doesn't incorporate wins. Mitchell Robinson, they're playing Boston, can't be on the floor. Because you know what happens? He gets pushed out of the paint because there's a 7'3" Lithuanian pushing him right outside of the three-point line. And can just spot up all the time. And then when they're playing a team like Boston, you know what happens to Jalen Brunson? Okay, I get a switch. Oh, it's Drew Holiday. Oh, I get a switch. It's Derek White. Oh, I get a switch. It's Jaylen Brown. And the same thing happens to him on defense. He gets switched off, and those guys take advantage of his size. This is what it is. And Julius Randle's the same way. Julius Randle at the 4, and he's having to guard Jason Tatum. It's not going to work out. I mean, there's pieces to the team, yes. But there's no big star eking the way to go to New York. Like, look at free agency and look at the stars around us. I don't think Luka wants to. Luka's not going to leave Dallas. Trey might possibly could leave Atlanta, but that ends up in the same situation. You have a very small backcourt again, and I still don't think, even with Trey, y'all are good enough to beat, with everybody, of all those people still in there, y'all not good enough to beat Boston as the way they are. Guys like Giannis are going to stay where they at. He does a goddamn. Jimmy Butler's getting up there in age, and he doesn't want to leave Miami, let's just be honest. I think he likes the warm weather better, considering his little trip in Minnesota. Zion, in my opinion, is not going to solve y'all's problems. Anything, he'll give you more problems because he's in a bigger media state now. Like, there's not a lot of coverage on him because he's in New Orleans. Like, that whole, Mariah Mills situation, yeah. If that happened in New York, it went on for months on end. That man couldn't live that man couldn't walk nowhere near you or without somebody say that to him. But yeah, that's my whole personal situation about the Knicks. They're still stuck in this loophole of where they don't want to be bad, but you want to be good. I mean, Knicks fans are the most loyal fans in like any fan base. Like, even through the Eddie Curry. Yes, I said it. Eddie Curry days. Pre-Amari Stoudemire days. Pre-Carmelo Anthony days. From about 2000 to 2000, like even Stephon Marbury, like before intermission when Stephon Marbury was in there, the dark days. Jordan Hill getting drafted with the 8th overall pick days of New York. they were still coming and selling out those games. So New York Knicks fans, I'm sorry, but that's just my personal opinions on y'all situation. I feel like y'all are the median. Y'all gonna make the playoffs continually, yes, but I just feel like that's not enough. That's just my personal opinion. Those are the teams where I say, hey, let's get a reboot. Let's do this right, which I don't think that guy up there is going to. But yeah, that's just my personal take on the Knicks. It's very frustrating to see to such a loyal fan base, especially. It's frustrating for me personally when I hear about the Knicks. Next one, it's just sad in my opinion. The Chicago Bulls. At this point in time, like everybody sees it, the writing's on the wall. Zach LaVine's a 2. DeMar DeRozan's at his age is a 3. Like, this is the third option. Let's just be honest here, man. You got Vucevic, yeah. Who at star is trying to come to Chicago? Maybe AD, but he already signed an extension with LA. Oh no, Kawhi's older. Paul George is older. Like, there's a lot of older stars around the league, but they're not gonna come to Chicago. Like, it's not a good time for free agency. Like, the whole free agency ramp is pretty much done. Like, we've seen it get increasingly lower and lower and lower of guys moving around so much. It's not gonna happen. It's not. It is what it is what it is. You got Kobe White. He's been getting more minutes, and which I was really upset that he wasn't. I'm like, dude, they draft all you guys, and you're not getting any minutes, which is crazy because every year they draft a guy, he doesn't get any minutes till he's 4th year in, and then he's a restricted free agent, and then somebody pays a little bit more than y'all, and then he goes out and balls with another team. Crazy, right? Lonzo's going to be out for who knows how long. I'm real sad about Lonzo, man. Lonzo's such a good man. Whoever gets Lonzo up in his new future is going to be very, very happy. Like, if he can come back healthy and be even 70% of what he formerly was, he's going to be a great help to whatever team. 6'6", long defender. I mean, he can make every play in the book. I mean, he can spot up 3-pointer shooter. He can do whatever you want him to tell him to do. But that's another talk for another time. But yeah, the Chicago is just very simple. Just trade Zach LaVine, trade DeMar DeRozan, trade Vucevic. They will be very nice pieces on other teams right now around the league. DeMar, I think, would fit perfectly with the Dallas Mavs right now. I think with Luka, Kyrie, DeMar for that third option who can kind of take away the middle of the field, and he has a big driver in the middle. You know, he can attack the paint, but also have that mid-range game too, but not to the point where he's getting in the way of Kyrie and Luka. Oh, dude, that's going to be a big help. That's going to be a big help, and plus I think they need a bigger wing defender anyway. Zach LaVine, I think just about every team in the league can honestly take Zach LaVine and make it work with me. Can make it work. I think just about every team. For me personally, going to the Miami would honestly help him out a lot. Miami needs a little flash, a little athleticism, and I think inserting him to the starting lineup would give them such a big help. You know, LA's the obvious one, but I don't think he would fit too well. I think they would have to give up way too many pieces of their own team in order to get that going. So I think those couple spots would probably be perfect for him. Or hell, I might even consider sending him to a team like Orlando just to take a little heat off Paolo for right now. I got a feeling like they're forward heavy or whatnot, and I think, you know, you can trade him and get a couple like front court players off of that team over to Chicago to help y'all out because y'all front court is not that good, but your back court is pretty decent, and just to get them going. Paolo and Zach LaVine would help y'all out, along with Franz Wagner. I think you're probably going to end up having to give Jalen Suggs or Cole Anthony or one of those guys, but I think it'd be probably a good trade-off for getting Zach LaVine in there and getting y'all some more help, helping y'all win more games. And plus, you know, Orlando can start finally moving in the right direction again. Right direction since Dwight Howard days, which is crazy. And that's going to be pretty much it for right now, everybody. I think every other team is pretty much self-explanatory for what they want to do and are pretty much straightforward in what they want to do, and I think their decisions are pretty much clear. A lot of people might think, well, what about the Minnesota Timberwolves? I'm like, it's pretty clear. Anthony Edwards is a superstar, and they're probably going to end up trading Cat for somebody that, you know, helps out. That's just it. Like, I think the team fits more around Anthony Edwards than it does Karl-Anthony Towns. That's pretty much it. Oklahoma City, for instance, they're starting off pretty slow, but, you know, young team. They're going to start off slow, but I think they're going to pick up the wins. Same thing with Houston. Houston's playing really well. Emi Udoka is doing a great job with those guys. I mean, Jalen Green's got to play better, obviously, but I feel like Jabari Smith is coming on nicely. Up to 3-point. He's at 38% shooting for the right now year from the 3-point line, up from about 28 from last year. Dylan Brooks is playing out of his mind. I don't know what got into Dylan Brooks. I guess the money did, but he's shooting 50% from 3-point land. 50% from 3-point land. Great freaking start for Dylan Brooks. All the power to you. Fred VanVleet, basically having that Julius Randle effect, but he's a strong leader up there in the locker room. He helps guide the guys, and he's taking more of his precedence on running the offense. And same thing, Toronto. I feel like they're not in so much of a place of limbo, but I feel like somewhere like they're just waiting for Scotty to break out. And I think that breakout's happening. Dude's averaging 22, 9, and 6 right now. 48% shooting, 36% from the 3-point land. I think he can keep that up, and I think he can get to that superstar status. But another team and I want to talk about real quick that I didn't mention, Detroit, not looking good. I get what you did. You got Monty Williams, but they're not looking good right now. Like, this is Cade's, third year. You got to see some type of improvement from Cade, like, significantly. Otherwise, this is going to look very bad for Detroit. And they need to win. The Lions are finally playing good. Let's get the Pistons playing good. That's going to be about it for me. Like I said before, y'all, this is my first time doing this. Don't shoot the messenger, please. I tried. Give helpful comments, please. Helpful comments if you can. And make sure that discourse is smooth. And if you have a problem with any of my comments, oh well. Because you're probably a Knicks fan, probably a Chicago Bulls fan, probably a Minnesota fan, a San Diego my fault, an LA Charger fan. I get it. But but y'all got to think about it too. You got to admit, y'all probably admit when y'all wrong. Come on. A lot of you Chargers fans want to see Brandon Staley out of there. But that's it. That's Devin calling off, and I'll probably see you guys in the next couple of days.